All right, everybody, welcome to week number 10, Blades in the Dark. My name's Matt. I'm joined by IKEA Monkey, Emily, Mike, and Ian. And you may have noticed that IKEA Monkey is the newest cast member, and that is because Anthony is out this week. He discovered recently that Comcast had made a terrible error on his bill, and it is due tomorrow. So he is currently resolving that, which required him to drive all the way into Portland, which is not like a far drive, but it's still a pain in the butt, to go deal with that. So he will not be here tonight, but we are joined by our good friend IKEA Monkey, who is giving about the same expression that that Anthony was giving me when he informed me about what is going on. So, man, how is everyone doing? Ian, let's just go ahead and start with you. It's been 2 weeks since we last played. How you been?
Yes, I've been good. I am tired, very tired. I had a rough day at work, and last week was very busy, so, it's pretty rough, but I am super pumped to come back and play Blades, and get back into character.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get back into it as well. Ian and I were at the same place. We were counseling at a summer camp for the church that we go to and several other churches. And it was exhausting. It was a good time, though, I think, overall. Ian had a bit of a rougher week than I did, especially near the end with some car problems. But
yeah,
but
fuck
overall,
that.
yeah. But but overall, it was a good experience and worth our time. So, yeah. As for myself, yeah, I was there all last week, and beyond that, I have been trying to recover since I've been back. Haven't really had much of an opportunity to do so, and probably won't until later this week, maybe. So, yeah, life is just kind of a whirlwind right now, but I'm excited to be here and kind of excited to be hopping back into the regular routine. It's tough after a week away to come back to what is normal in daily life, so that is the current struggle. Beyond that, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go, hashtag Team Mystic, and if you aren't, you can leave, and that's fine with me. We don't need your kind here. I'm just playing. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go since I've been back. I'm way behind everyone else, though, because, like, I was gone for a week, so, and I was only able to catch one Pokemon while I was at camp, as Ian can vouch.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a camp where, like, no one's supposed to, like, have their phones on them all the time and all that stuff, so I may have snuck a Magnemite in there.
I watched as we slept in the same tent, and as I was falling asleep, all I see is a phone with a Magnemite on it, just floating, and just... That was interesting.
Yeah, well, it was a good time. I'm just thankful that I had my friend Ian to help me catch that Pokemon, because I don't think I could have done it without him.
I did so much.
Yeah, he helped a lot. And it did the whole, like, Pokeball glitch where, like, it shows the Pokeball but doesn't do anything else. And as it turned out, it did save, so I do have a Magnemite still, which is great. Other than that, a new Magic set came out. Well, the pre-release happened this last week. Anthony, how do you feel about that? Oh, yeah, me too.
Cool.
Yeah. That I haven't actually had a chance to play it at all, so hopefully it's sweet. I don't know. I'm not, like, super hyped on it. The story parts are cool, but, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Maybe this set is just a miss for me. Shadows over Innistrad was a big hit, but this set seems like a miss for me, personally. Haven't played it yet, though, so that remains to be seen. And that's it for me. Emily, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Bit of stress as I am preparing for one of my best friend's weddings in which I am the maid of honor. So I would like to think that I am vicariously siphoning off her stress and taking it onto myself, but I'm probably just creating more of my own. So that's just handy. I am really excited for it, though. I, too, recently got Pokemon Go. I actually started playing it long after everyone else had already had it because I did not know what it was initially. I thought everyone was making a bunch of weird Pokemon memes on the internet, and then I found out it was a game, and so I am also pretty behind, but making a lot more progress than I would have thought. So yeah, and I was really sad. Well, all of my friends were away at camp, and I was doing normal life stuff. But yeah, also sad to not be watching Game of Thrones. But lot of new stuff coming around
Wait,
the
yeah,
corner.
didn't they announce that they're going to be splitting the seasons up, kind of like Walking Dead style, so that there's going to be like a half season or something?
That's not what I heard. I know that they're doing, they're going to be debuting the 7th season mid-summer instead of like April, May-ish when they normally do. So it could be coming out July, August of next year. They need to do, they're going to be filming a lot in Iceland.
It's even longer.
Well, no, it's not a longer, it's a longer wait, a shorter season, because they're going to be filming a lot in snowy climates. And they need to be able to get as much. Yes, yeah.
They know nothing about that.
Oh no, they know something.
Maybe a little.
They know something. I dare say Jon Snow knows a little something too.
Yeah.
If Ygritte was still around, she would get more credit for that.
Yeah,
but...
Ygritte.
Yeah, but that's about it for me, I think.
Cool. Mike, how about you, man?
Oh, hi. I am in the process of, on the fly, live on the air, trying to fix my character sheets.
Doing it live.
We're doing it live, in the words of Bill O'Reilly. Let me test this real quick. I think that I have resolved the problem. Lettuce? Check.
You put lettuce in the code?
Gosh dang it. I will have to fix that off stream.
That's fine.
Because I am out of time. Sorry, Ian. But I thought maybe, I don't know. I don't know if it would require everyone to leave and then join again for it to update everything.
I've just been sitting out of the game waiting for word to hop back in.
I don't think that we're going to need it right now because our cohort is on quality 1 anyway, which is what the radio button is stuck at.
Great.
So it doesn't matter at the moment, but I think the reputation bug should be fixed, as in I think it should be good for that, so you can fill in your crew's reputation, and it won't just be 5. But if anyone in the chat knows how to code Roll20 character sheets, let me know why my radio button values are not saving, because I can't figure it out.
That's
anyway.
Okay. If it's not like 100% like necessary to getting the show going, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
it's not necessary.
We can mess with it after.
We also have pens and paper. So.
Other than that, today I played some Hitman. I've been continuing to play that game.
Right, and you played it live on stream, right?
Played a little bit live. They released 2 new missions today. They're in 2 of the same environments that already existed, but they changed them in such a way that they feel totally different. So it's new and fresh way to play and a new experience.
Did you kill Buscemi?
I did not kill Buscemi.
Wow.
There's a thing in the game where you hunt down targets, and the next one is Steve Buscemi.
No, it's Gary Busey, actually.
Oh, sorry. I got 2 shitty actors messed up on accident, so...
Wow.
Does Gary Busey count as an actor at this point?
No.
I don't know.
And also, I feel bad because I really, really like Steve Buscemi, so I kind of
what? Oh, wait, who is Steve? Wait, okay, I'm pretty sure I know who that is.
Steve Buscemi. He's on Con
yeah,
Air.
no, I totally like this guy. This guy's great.
He's great. He was on Prison Break.
He was great in Con Air.
Yeah. The best.
Yeah. He was so creepy, but also not a bad guy.
In addition to all of that, over the past 2 weeks, I watched the entirety of Parks and Recreation.
Oh, that's one of my favorite shows in the world.
How did you watch it without saying anything?
You were at camp, Ian Swanson.
Now you have to watch it all over again with Ian, because he's
again.
gonna have an aneurysm.
Hung out yesterday. No, I think that's a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. it started off slow and didn't like it to begin with, but like Matt Dennis said, once you start getting actually invested into the characters, then it's a lot better.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's like amazing. The final season is just, I like cried through the whole
Yeah.
thing because they're like,
there was some possible tears for me on some of
Uh-huh.
those things.
it gets too real. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I also relate to many government employees and their daily life struggles.
I relate to Ben because, like I told Matt, his ideal bachelor party is board games and booze.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Ben's pretty great.
The ongoing
of-
joke with the board game he creates is so fantastic, and I think if you play board games, you should at least watch the clips of that
Wait,
because
wait.
it's really good.
How many
you messed up
seasons
my
are there?
segue. 7.
7?
Yo, I have not watched the entire show.
You messed up my
What?
segue. I was gonna say, speaking of board games and booze, how about that Blades in the Dark?
Well, that's not a board game, so let's keep talking about this. What the heck? Where do you find all these 7 seasons?
Netflix.
On Netflix.
They're all on
dude.
Netflix?
They're all on Netflix.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, July 26th, 6:30
Just
p.m.
stream
here on
See you later.
twitch.tv/friendlyfiretv. I gotta go watch the... I'm just playing.
Follow buttons
I'm
below
just playing.
me.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could just stream ourselves watching Parks and Recreation together.
Yeah,
That would
The
be
whole
worth
sync clap thing where
Or
like,
as our characters for Blades in the Dark,
Mm.
watching Parks and Rec.
I don't know if Silas
Hey.
would be into that.
Speaking of our characters from Blades in the Dark, Mike, why don't you tell us where those ones were left off? There's your segue.
They all are dead because you stole my segue.
oh.
Oh.
They didn't float in space forever.
They did not float in space forever.
Or-
they are
Then we all
boat.
get
not.
to-
They are also not forever stuck on a boat traveling seas.
all of our characters have the worst. Like, there's never. I don't think I've ever actually like finished a campaign, except for Age of Rebellion.
Yeah.
That's the only campaign we've ever actually finished. Like, it came to a close. We had taken over the ship, and mission was accomplished, and that was the end of it.
We might see those characters again sometime, maybe in the
Yeah.
future, possibly. If
We
we're
could do
into
a
it.
special thing for like Rogue One, you know, before the movie comes out. Do like a little mini baby campaign. Hmm?
Yeah, nice
I like
little one shot.
babies.
Emily, you go ahead and set it up.
You can
Okay,
choose.
maybe.
Yeah, you should do it.
I'll get back to you on that.
All right.
All right, so we are playing Blades in the Dark today. Welcome to everyone who is here or not here. You know, still, we love you. So last time we, and by we I mean the characters, they took over a coffee shop.
Well,
Because
it's technically a cafe. They serve sandwiches too.
cafe, coffee shop, you know, cafe.
It's different in
Sure.
Amsterdam.
Sure, I mean, it doesn't sell marijuana like the ones in Amsterdam.
Correct.
But you know, I mean, unless you guys want it to, you know,
I don't even think marijuana exists in the Blades universe necessarily.
you could expand
Maybe
into
it
the drug.
does.
Some
Vape,
interesting drugs.
Vape Nation.
No gang signs.
They shall.
That's the gamble
That's-
sign.
That's a lifestyle sign. Excuse me, sir.
Get out of here.
No! It's wrong. Do not.
So we have a couple ways that we could proceed with this. Now, just a refresher for you guys and for people in the chat, we did a little bit of timeline weirdness over the last couple sessions. We did the score, which took over the turf last time, but in the timeline of the fiction, the previous session's downtime takes place after that. So, we probably shouldn't do another whole session of downtime this session because that doesn't make much sense in the timeline of the fiction. So,
No.
if you guys are okay with that, then we can bypass downtime for now and do it again later.
Sounds good.
Same.
Okay with that, Matt? That
Yeah,
you're-
that's fine.
Matt Dennis is one stress away from trauma.
Oscar
Be fucking-
Frogmore is one stress away from
Oscar-
trauma.
Oscar
Matt is
Frogmore.
already 4 traumas in. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yes. As a human being.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, other than that, you know, generally speaking, the way we can do it is either, you know, I will provide you guys with a job from someone, or if you guys have something specific in mind that you want to try to accomplish, then we can try to do that as well.
So, yeah, let me ask you a question about that. What sort of things can a crew do just in general? Like, you know, I mean, I don't want to just be like, okay, we're going to take another turf, because that, you know, we just did that, right?
Right.
But what
Just
sort of
doing
things...
the same thing over.
Yeah, what sort of things, given our current setup, are like our normal sort of hits, or do those just sort of happen off screen?
So, you know, from my perspective, and, you know, Ian, since you're second most familiar with the rule system here, you can jump in as well. You can, you know, like I said, you can try to
Second
acquire...
most? Really?
I mean,
Anyways, yes.
you can try to acquire more turf if you want. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because that's a pretty big, you know, part of the game is acquiring turf, you know, building up your crew, trying to, you know, get more people to join your gang, and building up your organization. You can, you know, if you want to just keep the turf that you have now, then you could probably in some way try to, you know, recruit more people. We could probably build a score around trying to recruit more people, things like that. And, you know, you could, you know, just say, hey, we just want to do a job, you know, just a random job. We want to pick out a mark. We want to gather information on it. We want to just try to earn some cash, you know. You could do that as well.
Teacher, excuse me, one who is most knowledgeable in this game here. Can you please pick me to speak, please?
Man.
Please?
I don't see anyone with their hands up. Come on, guys.
There's some RPG EPing going on here.
Go right ahead, Ian.
So, I mean, yeah, like what you're saying, we could just be like, hey, we need a job. Is any gang want something to do for us? I'm sure we could go back to Bajo or find someone else to do. But also something we have never really touched upon is the hunting grounds in which we have. And so the way hunting grounds works is it's under like the impression that we have an area around us that we can kind of do our own jobs on without looking for others to help us. And the way it works is, so we would be doing burglaries or robbery, and not 100% sure. I mean, is that like burglaries, you're robbing like a house, and like robberies, you're robbing someone
Right,
on
so
the street?
the difference between the two is basically, is there, you know, violence against a specific person involved, or is it just against, you know, a place?
Yeah, the technical difference is it a person or a place that's being stolen from? Violence is less relevant, but, you know.
Yeah.
Burglary is, I go to your home, I take your stuff. Robbery is, I take your stuff from you.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was a bigger distinction within the fiction of Blades.
Sure.
But how that works is, though, it's unique because normally when we do a job for someone, we accrue like a crew, kind of like a heat, and like we change our faction statuses. Like we get negative qualities with other people and positive with some. The only thing that you get through the like hunting grounds is is it XP, crew XP, and coin, I believe.
To increase the quality of your hunting ground?
No, to use your hunting grounds to hunt.
So it
because
says the GM can make a fortune roll using the quality of the hunting grounds to determine if there are currently any passing opportunities for thievery and how lucrative they might be.
Yeah.
A score within the hunting grounds generally does not impact faction status and doesn't generate rep. You can use a score in your hunting grounds to earn extra coin and XP without having to deal with direct blowback from other factions.
No.
Okay.
So we still get heat. That's what.
Yeah, you still get heat. You don't lose.
Yeah.
You don't lose or gain any status with the factions, though.
Okay.
So, I imagine that we're sitting in this cafe, or that we had scheduled a meeting, right? And Mike, I don't know what you discussed with Anthony, so let me know if this goes against your plan. But I imagine that the four of us, including Wakasis, had scheduled a meeting, you know, like a couple days back. And the plan was to meet at the cafe, which is called The Strait, and because it's on the little river, just at the north end of Crowsfoot, right?
Yeah.
And the plan is to meet there to discuss sort of our next step. And Oscar, being an early riser, he's there at about like 5:30 a.m. He's there to like open it basically, and he probably has a key or something. and he opens the front door, and he goes and he sits down with some like espresso, and he's just waiting for everybody to show up. And I imagine everyone else does at some point. If you want to determine which time that is, that's up to you.
So, with that in mind, what would happen is that you would show up, and then Silas and Lyric would show up.
Mm-hmm.
But Wacasis doesn't show up. But after you guys wait for a while, then it's like probably one of your cohorts is walking by, and he comes in, and he walks up to you, Oscar, and he says, "Listen, I think I saw Wacasis getting tossed in the back of a blue coat carriage." He was over by one of his his regular gambling dens that he frequents, and he was pulled out of the front and tossed in the back of a carriage.
When did you see this?
Oh, this was a couple hours ago.
Was he drunk?
Is he ever not?
That's a good point. Fucking gobshite. I look to Silas, and I'm just kind of waiting to see what his reaction is to this.
There's like almost no reaction to it. Like it's just normal. He's like, Wacasis he's on the wrong side of the law all the time. Why is this like?
This isn't the first time it's happened.
There's like a subtle nod, like a little like, that's a thing.
It is a thing.
And then he looks at... So when Silas doesn't react anyway, he looks at Lyric. Like, Oscar just looks at Lyric, and it's kind of this big sigh, like, looking to see, like, okay, what do you think we should do, given that?
Yeah, I imagine Lyric is just... she's just sitting there kind of stoic like she normally is, but her eyes just kind of rolling back in her head, like... one step forward, two steps back.
Oscar pipes up, and he just says, fucking idiot. We can't do any operations without all four of us. Last time we did something, Silas, well, we know how it went down. Fortunately, your departure was near the end of that, so we didn't have to deal with a man down, but it was still a struggle.
I think as soon as you like start mentioning that, there's like a slight turn in his demeanor from kind of like a more as jovial as Silas can get, being sure. Like to like not, and there's like he's like kind of. I should
clarify too that Oscar doesn't mean this isn't in a nagging way. He's just like it's just a matter of fact, like that was hard when that happened.
Yeah, and I think he kind of like it's not like an anger. It's more like this was his attitude. Now it's here, and that's all like that. Yeah,
sure. And then Oscar pipes up, and the fucking blue coats too. I hate those fuckers. Have you had any experience with them, Lyric?
Very little, actually.
You know what those fuckers do? And Oscar then goes off on a little bit of a rant. I don't know what all he would say because I don't know it like everything that's happened in his life. I could try to make stuff up, but I would just stumble over my words. So he just goes on to explain all the times that he's had problems with the Bluecoats because of his experience as an investigator, and all the times that they've either thrown him in the back of something because he's caught near a crime scene, even though he hasn't done anything technically, because Willie's in there investigating for him, or like they come up and rough him up, when he was younger because he would be doing work that they were supposed to be trying to do as, private eye. And so he just has a grudge against them, and they have a grudge against him too. So he doesn't really want to fuck with them. And
do you think there is a flashback maybe? And this is just my kind of question, like to like maybe when Oscar was in like the orphanage, to like a point where maybe he was like trying to escape and the Bluecoats like.
So that's a good question. Back. Oscar never tried to escape the orphanage for sure. He stayed there his whole life. For those of you that aren't familiar, Oscar was in an orphanage for his childhood called the Frogmore Orphanage. It's it's kind of in the same place we are. It's North Crowsfoot, and he lived there his whole life, or his whole childhood, until he was whatever the legal age is in Duskfall, probably like 14 or 15. And then went off and kind of did his own stuff. So after that, like, we don't see him trying to run away from the thing, but we do see him, like, even as a kid, like, there were a couple petty thefts that he may have gotten caught for, you know, stuff, like, just minor, like, little kid crime that happened. Nothing huge. He's never been, like, sent to prison for a long period of time and tried to escape. He's been locked up for a couple days a lot. So for several couple of days periods, he's been locked up by the Bluecoats, and he just doesn't like them because he doesn't think that what they're doing is necessarily above board. Although what Oscar's doing is not above board.
Do you like mention like a time in which you like were like, yeah, I got locked up for a few days, but I got out, you know, like that kind of thing? Like...
Oh yeah. Like, in fact, let's just go with one. Oscar's like, this is like 5 minutes into his speech. He's like, and then there was that fucking time up in Silkshore. I was at a market. I wasn't doing anything. They just knew that I was one who had stolen from there before. But I was a changed man. I wasn't doing that anymore. And, well, I wasn't doing that there anymore. But anyway, I was walking through the market with the money I had acquired further south in the city. And they saw me trying to purchase some clothing. Some nice clothing. A newsboy cap just like this one. And, and he goes, and the fuckers took my hat and ripped it up. They burnt it right in front of me and beat the shit out of me. They had nothing on me, but then they told the shop owner, right there, we know what he's done. You don't have to say anything. We'll take him in. Fuckers. The fucking Bluecoats, they're nothing but hypocrites, you know that. Oh, we're going to defend Duskfall. From what?
How much time did you get?
3 days.
There's like this blasé, like, are you shitting me look on his face, and he's just like,
Look,
he gives
Silas.
the kind of like the pandering, like, you know, have it hard kind of look.
Or
Yeah,
be-
as soon as he gets that, he's like, fuck you, Silas. Hard time doesn't mean long time.
Silas like looks at you, and then like he rolls up his shirt, and there's like straight up prison tat on like the side of his like like stomach, and like you can see that like essentially the year and how long, and then like maybe like gang affiliation tattoo, and like kind of puts it back down, and he like kind of like proceed.
I'm thankful that you did this because Oscar stands up as well. And he goes, Lyric, cover your eyes. You're not going to want to see this. This is a nasty old man's backside. And he turns around and he picks up his shirt. He like unbuttons his vest and he picks up his shirt. And like all over his lower back, there's just like scars from like not like whippings, but like burns and like cuts, all sorts of stuff all around like his lower to mid back. And he goes, sometimes the city's a prison. And he tucks his shit back in and sits back down and goes,
And I think
we're
Silas,
all in this
yeah.
together. And he like raises his little espresso and takes the shot of espresso.
And like I think Silas like nods, kind of like not like he's definitely not giving the pandering like, oh, you have it like easy kind of look, but he also like he says like, this sometimes prisons are palaces to some people.
Yeah, that's not a joke. You're right. Maybe Wakasis is living it up, right? Who knows? He's probably got some shit up his sleeve. You know, he's like one of his cards that shifts around or some devil magic like that, and he's probably just raking it in for us or for him.
He's probably fine, you know.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't know what he done to do that, but I mean, he'd probably get a couple of days like you did and get thrown out on his ass again.
Aye.
So
I'm sure we'll see him next week right here at 6:30 Pacific on twitch.tv/friendlyflyer.tv.
if you want to look at the like button below me, you can click it.
Where'd the fourth wall go?
So
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So then I think like after that, Silas would be like, kind of like, so what are we gonna do?
well,
Not just sit around on our asses the whole time. Got to do
Can't-
something.
do we help him? Obviously, look, the Bluecoats. I know better than to try to take them down. We're not in any position to go fuck over the Bluecoats without ourselves getting a fucking as well. So how about we let Ocasis figure out what he's going to figure out. Trust him that he'll get himself out of there, and maybe we have to help with bail, but perhaps we just kind of stick to the operations in the area. You know, we've got two spots right now. Maybe we could try to use one of Lyric's connection to do some trade on this canal.
Yeah, I would say that's a viable option. Don't stray too far, lest Wacasus find himself high and dry.
Right, if the
I
young
think,
boy
like-
comes back, we need to be sure that his mommy and daddy are here for him.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean,
He chuckles.
What?
Oscar, this
With
is...
crackers and soup.
Yeah.
I think like when you like mention trade, Silas is like, "What are you planning on trading? We don't have shit people want."
Aye, but we do have a canal and a safe house.
Are you suggesting we maybe, and like I think he's like, this is like where Silas like perks up a bit at the mention of doing something illegal. He's like, "Are you saying we should acquire some trade, you know, to trade?"
Oscar, I mean, sorry, Silas, you're gonna have to use bigger words than that. Yes, I plan to do some stuff with some things. But what do you mean?
What I mean, what the fuck do you think I mean? Are you saying do we steal shit from someone and then sell it to
No.
someone else that wants that?
That's a fine idea, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we. Well, there's two ways we can go about this. We can create demand for our safe house by stealing some shit and claiming it was somebody else, such that our house is the safe house on the river, or we just offer a safe house to another gang in the area.
So
I kind of
you
like the
wanna
first one more.
You want to offer our safe house?
I do.
I mean, you're suggesting we might offer the safe house we just took for some people, violently,
Correct.
to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, but
you
here's
realize when
the
they
deal.
see it, they're going to
No,
want
no.
to take it. They're just going to take it.
Here's the
They,
deal.
they,
though.
they don't want to pay for it. They're going to take it. That's
I
how it
understand what
works.
you're thinking. This is not a safe house for people. This is a safe house for their goods. Fuck the people. They're on their own. And if they get lost, then it's ours. It's all about writing up a good contract.
So you're just suggesting that maybe you're basically saying let's do this, and if anything goes wrong, I'm just gonna have to deal with all of it, right?
You... And he, like, pats you on the
mean-
arm, and he's like, look, I get it. You're a big man with a big man complex, but you're not the only one sitting at the table. And he, like, kind of points to Lyric as well, and it's like, shit's gonna go sideways in our lives. That's the life we've chosen. It doesn't matter if we sell our shit out or try to take more shit. Eventually, we've got to make money with what we've got. And that's part of it, is creating the demand. So here's what I say. Lyric, do you know any idiots that are going to be sailing the river with less than savoury goods?
Oh, I could probably cook up a name or two.
Are they names you enjoy or names you'd rather not see around here? Because you should pick the ones that aren't the ones you want to see around here anymore.
Yeah, I can knock on a few doors.
Because if we prove that this river is dangerous by the means of some mysterious force, then perhaps the Gambit is a great place for someone to come and leave their stuff for a while, and for a premium. But you know what's good about this is it's better to pay a couple coin here and there to make sure your high value stuff gets from point A to point B. It's better to do that than to have your high value stuff not make it. And for us, it's better if it does not make it, but in fact makes it to us. And if it doesn't, then we're still making money.
So out of character, what you're suggesting
Yeah.
is we just find someone who wants to store their goods in the safe house for money.
This is a two-part.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
this is a
Yeah.
two-part plan. First part is to create demand by making the river unsafe for people to smuggle goods. Because like if you're just like, hey guys, we have a safe house, then no one's gonna care. They'll be like, well, there's not been a problem, so we create a problem on the river. We make it so that people want some safe place. Then we contact somebody and say, hey, we heard that there's some boats going missing. We have a place here, and we're willing to help you out, but you have to pay us for it.
What are you wanting to use as the safe house?
The cafe,
Cafe?
because it's right there on the street.
We establish it has a little bit of docking area.
That's what I thought.
The only place you'd be able to store goods is the cellar, and
Mhm.
it's not extraordinarily large.
I know
You
that.
couldn't store a
Mhm.
whole lot there. Like one boat's worth of stuff is all you could store at a
That's
time.
fine. A safe house is supposed to be concealed. I'm not looking for a warehouse. You know.
Right. And if we're like storing something like, say, drugs, we might not even need to have that many of them because they're
Drugs,
pretty
Leviathan
potent.
blood, weapons. You know.
Ghosts.
We don't fucking trade in ghosts. You hear that, Silas?
Not
Did
happening.
Silas mention that at the table? Like, we're kind of BSing back and forth about.
If you're talking about like goods, then
Yeah.
of course he does because he's aware of how expensive it is.
Silas, like, Oscar immediately is done with your shit. Like, that, triggered, hashtag triggered, big time. He's like, we do not
There-
fucking handle spirits. We do not
There is
trade
probably
them.
a pretty high, demand for ghost trafficking.
There is. There is, in fact, on my character sheet, my enemy, or dangerous friend, rather, is Flint, a spirit trafficker. And he's not the friend one, he's the bad one. Oscar has very large issues with smuggling spirits. He is not down for that trafficking. In fact,
think when
and
you-
actually,
yeah.
actually, as Silas brings this up, he looks at Lyric and says, "In fact, if you know any fuckers that are planning on shipping some ghosts, how about we go fucking ruin their ship?"
So this is like, what, you got a problem with paying for ghosts? I mean, you don't know what they do with them.
Points to Willie.
Is Willie here? Yeah.
Yeah, he points to Willie, who's like pooping in the back or something. Not like,
And I think
like,
when he like does that, like Silas is like, I mean, no offense.
He,
course.
like he points to him and he says, "Yeah, I've got a fucking problem with people stealing ghosts and moving them around the city against their will. And I've got
I
a
think
problem
Silas
with the
is
fucking
like-
ghost barrier too, but that's a different matter."
Did you forget about a ghost that you yourself unleashed upon all of us? It almost killed me.
I do.
Are you
I-
aware
I-
that not all ghosts are nice, like all Willie here?
I'm
Some
aware of
them
that,
might
but
be
I don't
good.
plan on screening every single ghost that comes through here.
Okay, I mean, you want to pass up on good money. I mean, you do it.
I do. I'd rather pass up on good money than pass up on a good man in the spirit's body.
The right ghost would fetch a ton of coin.
And Silas knows that, and he's clearly like, I'm not giving this up, but whatever, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah, Oscar.
So out of
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, please.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Out of character, really quick. So if we were looking to make the river unsafe, right, by screwing things up for somebody who is using that passage to trade, go wherever, what if would it potentially make sense if there was, like, if I knew of a spirit trafficker who used that waterway and we could, like, I don't know, steal a ship or something and something along those lines, you know, to kind of establish the fact that, hey, there's some strange stuff going on here. Might want to use our safe house. Or did you have something else in mind? Either of you.
No, I think that's fine.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
One thing that is going to be a piece of contention is going to be the fact that if we do, in fact, destroy any boats that are ghost spirit or like spirit trafficking, Oscar's not going to want to just start selling them. Like, you know,
We
if
could
this is
free them.
right, well, but this is also one of those things. Like, Oscar knows about feral spirits. Like, you know, he's aware that spirits go feral. He's also aware that Willie hasn't, and it's been like 40 years for him. So,
So we would have to know what we wanted to do with the ghosts.
Exactly.
Essentially.
It all for Oscar. I think it all depends on, like, does he know that these ghosts are feral or are they not feral? Because if they're not feral, he does not want to just ship them on somewhere else to become like a ghost egg bomb. You know, if they're feral, then he knows that they're worthless and they're not, like, it's kind of like a zombie, right? Like, a feral spirit is a little bit like a zombie in that you know that it's screwed and there's no humanity in it, even if it looks sad or whatever. But Willie has not exhibited that, so when it comes to trafficking spirits, he's totally against it. Because he like, if he can't know that each one of those spirits is feral, then he can't feel justified in shipping them around, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we would just have to figure out a way figure out what the deal is with the spirits that are being trafficked.
If we wanted to stop a
If we
spirit
did go
trafficking
that
ship,
route.
if we stopped any other kind of ship, he does not care.
Okay. I was just trying to think, like, before Lyric potentially proposes something like that it could be feasible in a way.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say, Ian?
I'm just saying, Silas would probably be like, so you want to stop a ship, and I think like this is probably an idea you throw out, and then he's like, you want to stop a ship full of goods that they're smuggling for lots of money, and then you don't want to sell that goods.
No, that's not what I said. I want to destroy the ship and take the goods and sell those. Anything that we destroy in order to create this demand, I'm happy to sell. I'm happy to ship out and make lots of money doing it. But eventually the plan is to make it a safe house. Because if we start fucking up everyone's shit on this river, then people are going to come and fuck up our shit. If we become a safe house, they're not going to want to do that. We become an asset for others. The people in this city will only keep you around as long as they need you. And if we create the need for us to be around, then we're going to stick around.
Yeah, and Silas, like, he kind of like leans back and he's like, all right, whatever, let's do it. I don't care anymore. I'm done with this. Let's just do it.
So has Lyric already thrown out at this point the idea of trying to stop a spirit trafficker, or is that something that hasn't come up yet?
That's your question.
Yeah, that's up to you.
Does she?
Well, we were talking about it, and then we went back into character, so I just wasn't sure.
Sure. I mean, we can assume that you have, or we can role play through it.
Okay. Because what I was gonna say is that like I know of someone who so my ship or Lyric ship, the SS Ballad, she knew of someone who occasionally would store illicit goods on the vessel, and she assumed them to be of a spirit nature because she could sense something off about it. So I imagine that she would bring this up and say, hey, I know this guy, insert name here. That's something I can figure out shortly if we go that way. But pretty damn sure that this guy dealt in spirits. Feral, not feral. I really can't be sure. But he would sure as hell make for a fine hit. Because I have seen his vessel passing through this canal from times when we docked in Duskball in the past. It's pretty recognizable.
How large is the crew?
The crew?
I mean, so the strait's not very big, right? Like, that's important.
Right.
Like, the canal isn't huge or anything.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say, oh gosh, numbers wise, maybe like, I mean, would 50 be too large? I think. Okay.
I think definitely.
maybe half that.
Like,
well, you're talking about
like a little boat that's,
or like a dozen maybe.
So like I'm talking like a big gondola.
Okay.
Right, like yeah, because these canals here are pretty small. Like they're not as small as like Venice, like Venetian canals. Sure. They're not as small as that, but like they're probably. I mean, if you look at on page 68 of the rulebook, you can see like he drew in little figures of the boats, and like a big boat could fit in there, but it couldn't turn in there. So I'm thinking like a small boat of maybe like 10, as like a small fishing boat. I think that maybe to me seems more reasonable for the kind of setting it's in.
Sure.
Like the like the boats from Peaky Blinders that they use in like season 1 and stuff.
Yeah. Sithmaster just said Amsterdam canals, and I think that's about the size I'm thinking. Like they could totally put a boat in there, but like 10 is probably the biggest crew you'd see. 10-ish.
Sure. Okay. So I'd say like a dozen max.
Okay. All right. And what does the ship look like?
Well, it's I know it by the color, which is what makes it distinctive from the distance. Mm-hmm. It is a very intense blood red. Has something of some kind of mythical creature carved at the front, which, again, makes it pretty recognizable, even just from, eye shot.
Okay. Okay, anything else about the boat that we should know?
No, I've never been close enough to
You guys might have to make
know the
like
ins and
a.
outs.
If you guys want to get some more information, I'm gonna say you're gonna have to do a gather information roll.
Sure. In fact, let's just do that. Let's just assume that, like, since we know we're doing this plan, that, like, perhaps after this meeting, like, maybe Lyric goes to, like, the docks and looks for the ship and, like, is just taking down notes on it or something? Or asking around?
Yep. How you gather the information is up to you. You could do it by just watching. You could talk to contacts, But that's going to determine, what you roll for your gather information,
Okay.
Yeah, Em, how about you do that?
Okay. Is that something that we want to do now or shortly?
Now, I think.
Okay. All right. I'm looking at the gathering information page such that I can ponder how I would like to gather information. How long is the canal, do you think, like in terms of like blocks or
Well, sorry, on the
go ahead.
On the map it shows that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks.
Okay.
It just kind of cuts into the top of Crowsfoot.
Okay.
And for those of you in the chat that are wondering what I'm talking about, it's this right here. That's the canal.
Yeah. The gray little thing there.
So my question is, Mike, what do we need to do in order to make this, like, is this, I mean, I guess, is this a score? Is it a hunting ground thing? Like, what do we have to do here? I imagine this is like a robbery.
Yeah, it's going to be within your hunting grounds. And so, there's a couple ways to generate scores. We could do it randomly by rolling dice, but we already have a general idea of what's going to go on. And I'll probably, throw in some twists in there for you. But other than that, we're on track to already having, what the score is. And it sounds like it's burglary or, a sabotage or something like
sabotage.
that. Sabotage, but you're also trying to take the goods as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like I think that most important is that we create danger on the river. Second most important is that we get the goods.
So is this like a sabotage? Like, what's the plan going to be for this? Is this like an assault plan, like a stealth plan?
Yeah. Well, let's make the gather information roll.
Sure.
And then we can get on to what kind of plan it's going to be. So.
Because that will probably inform what we do potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about I could consort with an old crew member, ostensibly one who is not on my last voyage, and somebody who I know interacted more with the spirit trafficker. I could try to arrange a meeting with him to ask him some questions about, how often this guy moves his cargo, where he gets it.
Yeah.
So sort.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll your consort, and just like usual, you can ask for devil's bargains or push yourself for additional dice.
Let's see. Probably don't want to push myself. I'm 3 away from trauma, which is
not much.
Not quite as bad as some people. I'm living easy.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, my screen froze. Okay, I'm good. I think I will just go ahead and roll. See what I can get the usual way. Consort. Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, consort in 4 days.
So what you're able to gather from your contact, we'll call this guy Finn, Phin. You know, I wish I had my GM notebook, but I don't, so I can't write it
No.
down.
I got it.
I couldn't find my GM notebook. So what you're able to gather from your conversations with him, you probably meet him at a pub or something and get him a little boozed up, unless that's ultimately your call. I'm just trying to give you some flavor there.
Sure.
And he's able to tell you, yeah, I seen Vey. That's the other guy's name. That's the guy who runs the spirit boat. His name's Vey, Vey.
Vey.
I seen him around. I think he's still doing that. Last I heard. It's a little hard to keep track of him though. It seems like he takes different routes and often his deliveries are at random times, so it's really hard to keep track of him. But I'm pretty sure that he's got a delivery scheduled for sometime within the next few days. But like I said, it's super hard to keep track of him. Let me see if I can find out some more for you. I talk with him every once in a while, and I'm pretty sure you guys aren't on the best of terms. So maybe I can talk to him on your behalf and see what I can find out.
I'd appreciate that.
Which crew is this guy with? Is he with like the Gondoliers, the Hive, the
Well, he's one of the Leviathan hunters, isn't he?
Well, he could be, but he's
Mm-hmm.
You could just be a smuggler too. Like not
Yeah.
everyone's necessarily like.
there's a couple of really good factions that are like okay, so there's the Gondoliers, a guild of canal boat operators, venerated by ancient traditions, said to know occult secrets. There is the Grinders, a vicious gang of former dockers and Leviathan blood refinery workers from Skovlin. The Hive, a guild of legitimate merchants who secretly trade in contraband, named for their symbol, a golden bee. There is obviously the Leviathan hunters, and the other one that I saw was the Spirit Wardens, the bronze masked hunters who capture and destroy rogue spirits. Also run Bellwether Crematorium. Like, I don't know if they would be dealing in it, but like, maybe this guy like is a Spirit Warden, but also is a smuggler off to the side. Like,
Okay.
Spirit Wardens don't
I
know
also
about it or
make sense.
something.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
it
That
does
makes
make sense
sense.
for him to be lightly affiliated with someone because technically this isn't going to affect other gangs as well.
Sure.
So it's
Mhm.
possible he is affiliated with someone, but not like a part of it. Like
Sure.
I think
maybe he
I think,
sells them to the Spirit Wardens or
Sure.
something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that what makes the most sense for this right now is that he's not an official part of any one gang. He kind of is like a go-between between a couple of the ones that deal in spirit trafficking. He has connections in hands and fingers in various places, but
Probably-
he's not.
Probably with the Foghounds too, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a couple fingers and a couple pies. If you know what I mean. So, yeah. So your friend Finn, he's going to try to find out some more for you. Because you rolled a 6. I'm giving him the chance to get a little more.
Okay.
If it hadn't been a 6, probably just would have been left at that. But
Sure.
let's see. I'm just gonna roll 1d6. D6.
What are you rolling a d6 for?
The quality of the information he's able to gather, on his own. 4. Okay. All right. So yeah, he comes back to you like the next day, probably.
Okay.
So if anyone has anything they want to do within that day, you have a chance. But he doesn't get back to you for another day.
Yeah, Oscar would like to do something. Oscar goes down to the dock. Like, it's just a small, like, canal side dock. It's more of like a little, like, walkway down there. And he brings a pretty shoddy fishing pole down there. And he's just sitting down there, like, with a fishing pole and, like, an lure in the water. He might not actually be fishing for anything, but he's just keeping his eyes open on the canal and kind of keeping tabs on who's flowing through.
Does Oscar know what Malira looks like?
Who is Malira? She's the Red Sash person?
Yeah.
I want to say loosely. Wait, is Malira the new one? Is she the new one, or is that
That's the leader of the crows.
No, Melira is
No,
the
she's
leader of
Red
the
Sashes.
I know that, but one of them
No.
is new, right? Like one of them is relatively new.
That's
Lisa.
That's
Lisa's
Lissa. Lissa, the leader
Okay,
of crows.
then yes, he would know at least generally what she looks like, because of
Okay.
his time doing investigation work and just kind of being familiar with the people in the area.
So you're out there on the dock, and on one of the boats, you know, it's dark out like it always is in Duskwall, but you're pretty darn sure that you see Melira on one of the boats, and it looks like the top half of her face is super burned, and she's wearing gloves, you know.
I don't make eye contact with her or anything. I just sit there, like, on the dock, just acting like I don't see anything. But I am gonna take a look at like her boat and kind of just take a look-see at it and maybe try to figure out if I can figure out anything on the boat. And I also ask Willie, who's next to me, if he sees anything that he can only see, because I don't like take the time to put on my spirit mask glasses. So I just ask him.
Do you want to ask Willie if he can check it out?
Yeah, I mean, Willie, like, I imagine he probably can't just, like, float over to the boat. Maybe he can. I don't know how far away it is from me, but, like, yeah.
It's on the other side of the canal, you know?
Okay, then I don't expect him to go, like, ghost swimming out there, or, like, fly over there. I just imagine that I just want to see from his eyes as well.
Okay. What kind of role do you think it would be if you're using both yours and Willie's, you know, perception powers to try to get what you can from this?
Likely, well, you know, I could say attune because I'm attuning with him to figure out what he sees. But it could also be, Actually, I think attune is probably just the best one.
Yeah.
Not just best, like, on my roll, even though it is the best, but, like, I think it just makes the most sense that I would be attuning with him so that we would be kind of mind melding over this and figuring out what we see.
It'd probably be either that or survey, you know.
Oh, sure. I'm happy to roll either.
I'll leave it up to you, you know. Since you're using Willie, I think attune makes sense.
Okay.
Alright.
Then I will go ahead and roll attune.
Devil's bargain or push yourself, as always.
I will not push myself.
It'd be fun.
But I will hear a devil's bargain.
Okay.
I have one. Actually, perhaps I get, like, a lot of good information, but Melira sees me. She may not recognize me, but she sees me.
I was gonna say that she sees you as well.
Yeah.
You know, she she
she
looks
sees me
over.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, she notices you looking. So that's the devil's bargain.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
So what do I do here?
Make your roll.
Roll attune, and do I get any bonuses or anything, or what
Yeah,
exactly is the benefit of my devil's bargain?
You get an extra die.
What's that?
You get an extra die.
Okay, I had forgotten because I haven't taken a devil's bargain in so long. Okay.
It's fun to take devil's bargains.
Okay. I rolled a 4.
Okay.
Modest success.
So yeah, you and Willie together, you're able to look, and when you're comparing, you know, the boat to the other boats around you, it looks like it's riding lower in the water. So it looks like it's more weighed down than most of the boats, and it's heading. It looks like it's heading towards, you know, the direction of where, like the area of town where the Lampblacks are.
Okay.
It's heading towards that area of town. Yeah, and she sees you. You know, she's, you know, standing there at the you know, front of the ship, and she looks over and sees you staring, and you know, her gaze lingers on you for a second, and you know, she turns around and it like taps one of her guys on the shoulder and points at you.
So,
you know.
So when she, like, looks, Oscar, he tips his hat and he just, like, starts whistling a tune and keeps fishing. He's acting natural.
Okay.
This cute old guy.
Yep, totally. He's trying to play the, like, oh, what a cute old man. Like, although everyone knows there's none of that in Duskwall. Like, there's anyone who's survived as long as Oscar has is up to some shit.
Want to make a roll to see how natural you look?
Oh, sure. What roll should I do to roll? Look, I mean, to look at
this could probably be,
sway.
Sway, perhaps. Yeah.
Deception or disguise. I think that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
how do I roll with 0? I just roll it, but then like I take the lowest result. Or
You
wait,
roll 2 dice and take the worst if you don't want to push yourself or take another devil's bargain.
What's the devil's bargain?
That's a good question. What would be the devil's bargain here? While I'm thinking, I'm always willing for suggestions. I think that a good devil's bargain could be that, while you're trying to look natural, you're gonna miss something important.
Okay. I'm not gonna take it.
Okay.
And also, I just wanna give a little bit of like story stuff. The song that Oscar is whistling is sort of it's like a children's song that is common in Duskfall, especially among orphans. It's not like the orphan song, but it's like a nursery rhyme type song about like the dangers of the dusk, like the Leviathan land, basically, and why it's like bad or why you should stay away from water. It's one of those like those songs you sing, like you tell a kid to sing so that they're like, oh crap, I should stay away from water. And it's sort of that one, and he's just whistling the tune, and it's a pretty commonly known song. So I'll go ahead and roll now. Ooh, sorry, I keep hitting my microphone. Sorry, audience. Okay, my lowest result was a 1. So there's that.
Yeah, so
I picked the wrong song.
we probably should have established that this. I don't think it makes sense for this to be anything other than a controlled roll,
Okay.
because there's no real immediate
Right.
danger to you at the time. So, with it being a controlled roll and a result of a 1, you're looking at blocked, hesitate, you falter. You can press on by seizing a risky opportunity, or to try a different approach. You could probably get her to ignore you if you accidentally fall into the canal.
All right, let me just ask before I do this. What does that entail? Like, what would my character know is the danger of falling into the canal?
Well, it would move up to a risky roll of the same kind.
Okay.
With the danger pretty much being like you suffer some minor harm.
Harm?
Yeah.
Isn't that like worse? Like big time?
He did say minor though.
I don't know what the harm differences are. Like,
Well, it would be something like you get a cold from the water or something, or
What
you
level would it be?
probably just level 1 harm, for falling into the canal. You bonk your head, or something.
And
like
that,
So-
Matt, that is the easiest to heal because it just heals naturally when you get
Okay.
downtime. So,
Sith Master says, can a resistance roll be done to resist the cold?
Yeah, always.
All right, then.
Anytime. That's
then-
something that we should establish, because me and Ian were talking about this before. Anytime that I say this consequence happens, a resistance roll is always an option.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he goes ahead and he like, he acts like he's gonna stand up, like he's gonna walk away, and in doing so, he like sets his bag down next to him, like it kind of rolls off his shoulder, and then he like trips, like it's like an intentional thing that he's doing it, but as he does so, like, perhaps like his bag gets actually caught on his foot, and his bag goes in with him, like the one he was just trying to set off to the side. Like, he's like trying to set it down, and then like, he's like, I'm just gonna, and then he like acts like he's tripping, like, whoa, and then when he falls in, the bag actually goes with him, so all his documents are wet.
Okay. Same rules before. 2 dice, take the lowest.
Okay.
And hopefully you can get higher than a 3.
Hopefully.
There you go.
That's better.
That's a 5. That's good. So yeah, you do it. and you scrape your knee on the canal wall, and you get a big nasty bruise on your leg. And as an old man who already needs a cane, it sucks, but it's not gonna kill you.
Right.
And
Actually,
you
can I just get a cold instead of that?
I mean, sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'll get a cold instead of that. Instead of the knee hurting.
They'd both have the same effect because they're both level 1 harm.
Yeah.
Just less effect on whatever you're trying to do, until you get that healed.
Yeah. How do I... Oh, harm. Where do I write that down on my sheet? Like, I see that there's harm things, but it says need help, minus 1d, and less effect.
Should be the less effect.
Okay.
So all that means is that anything you try to do until you get that harm healed has less effect.
Okay, I see.
Reduced. So yeah, you fall into the canal and you bob up above the water. Do you think Willie would laugh at you in this moment?
Oh yeah, Willie's like, you fucking idiot! Like, look at you! Like,
yeah.
What'd you do? Lose your footing? And Oscar like, he doesn't say anything, but he's giving him the look, like, you son of a bitch, help me out of here. And like, obviously, like, that would require Willie to become visible, so he doesn't. He like just points to Melira, like, yeah, let me get right on that.
Yeah. You look over to her, and it looks like she looks away and kind of brushes it off like there's nothing. So you successfully avoided too much attention.
And so Oscar, like, he first reaches down in the water and he feels around his foot. Is his bag still there?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So he like grabs the bag and he like heaves the bag up onto the thing, and he's like cursing, and he's like, fucking gobshite, I can't believe you, idiot. What have you done? Right here, I've been around for a donkey's years and I haven't even had this happen to me before. What am I going to do with all these wet documents? I've got to spend so much time. And he just starts like cursing and like he's just going off. And Willie at this point is rolling on the dock laughing.
Just a reminder, you can still do a resistance roll to resist the effects of having a cold.
That's okay. I want to roleplay it. And he gets out of the water, and like there's a blanket that he was sitting on, and he just wraps it up around him, and he's like, fucking cold water.
Sure you don't want to risk trauma to not have a cold?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, like suddenly the cold you were trying to resist gets really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just has the coldness, and like he just has the blanket wrapped around him, and he like kind of canes his way back up away from the water. Did I at least get any good information on like the other boats that were going by? Obviously Melira, as I understood, but like, were there any other boats that like, I at least noted down, even if they are totally inconsequential?
So,
or was that like the first boat I saw?
Well, it's one of the things you saw, and whether or not you've seen other things just depends on how much did this draw your attention? How much would Oscar care that he now sees Melira, the person that they essentially were hired to attempt to assassinate with a doom egg? She's alive and definitely not dead.
Well, so what I mean is, like, before that boat went by, did he see other boats go by?
Oh yeah, there's
okay.
It's not a super heavily trafficked area. You probably see
like
one or
2 or
two
3,
boats go by every 5 minutes or so.
Sure. Yeah, he was probably only there for like 30 minutes, but like he saw some other boats, or maybe he was there for a couple hours. So he has like a log of the boats, although the ink is now pretty smudgy. And with the Melira thing, like he was less shocked, because I think in Oscar's mind he was like, she might not die from this. Like this is like the equivalent of the villain going away in a rocket ship while the hero is hanging by a chain before his death. Like he knows that like it's entirely possible that anyone could have opened that thing before she got there, or that she wasn't even there. In fact, I don't even think Oscar expected her to be there. But he is pretty surprised to see all the burns.
Want to go ahead and take a break?
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you're having a good time. This session has actually been a lot of fun because we're just kind of like, let's do some new shit.
What do we want to do?
Yeah. What do you want to do today? I don't know, smuggling. Like that's kind of like what this session has been like. Anyway, to you guys in the chat, Sithmaster, thanks for kind of keeping us honest with the rules and helping us out with them. The game is cool. It's pretty simple, but it's really easy to forget some things. So I appreciate you guys helping with all that. And I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. If you haven't already, you should hit the follow button, which is directly below Ian. Ian, go point down. There it is. It's underneath Ian. And you should hit that. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, continuing on until about 9 o'clock p.m. And then after that, we'll be back next week. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Enjoy the music.